there ain't no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Didn't even get to cross. I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast. Didn't even get to glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon. Rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, them amateurs have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, them amateurs have to leave. Yeah, shoot. Yeah, shoot. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross. I said I'm moving too far. Get to glass.
This is ABC.
I'm Jim McKay speaking to you live at this moment from ABC headquarters, Munich, West Germany. The Olympics of Serenity have become the one thing the Germans didn't want them to be, the Olympics of terror.
But these guerrillas are from one of the very extreme left-wing groups, a group called Black September.
At this moment, 8 or 9 terrified living human beings are being held prisoner.
On the morning of September the 5th, the rooms of 11 Israeli athletes were broken into by Palestinian terrorists from the extreme group Black September, who held the athletes hostage at the demands that 200 revolutionary prisoners from Israel, Germany, and elsewhere be released. As the world waited anxiously, a false report hit the newspapers.
We are afraid the information given so far is too optimistic. That's where we seem to stand. They've now said that there were 11 hostages. 2 were killed in their rooms yesterday morning. 9 were killed at the airport tonight. They're all gone. They're all gone.
In later days, the world mourned the death of the athletes, and their perspective on terrorism changed forever.
Okay, that's a somber note. It's been somber notes that we've been starting each of these episodes on. I like to give you a little bit of what was major going on in the world for the time period that we are going over for Libertarian Party history. And that is something that I knew about, even though I was only 5 years old at the time. It's something that really, I think, left a scar. Most of you probably had heard of what happened, and that really changed the world in a big way. And I think terrorism has really been an impact, not necessarily in our daily lives, but probably in our yearly lives ever since then. What a tragedy. So sorry to start on such a somber note. Kind of fits my mood today, as you guys know. It's just not been a good day. So I will not be my normal chipper self. And I know it's really late, but I decided rather than sitting moping around the house, I'm going to do what I plan to do. And we need to catch up. By catch up, I mean be on the same month as the year in history we're doing. So now we're up to September. We got to make it up to January. Probably will be caught up by February, because I don't like to short shrift these just because I'm looking to catch up. I give you the bonus episodes and everything anyway. So I anticipate in January we'll get through September, October, maybe November, but I doubt it. And then in February, we'll do November, December, January. We might not get caught up to March. March might be February, March. You know, again, I don't want to short shrift it. So let's get right on to the LP news. Let me pull up our next scene here, if I can figure that out. Here we go. So we are on, and I remembered to bring my paper copy this time, so I'm not leaning over the screen and looking all like a gargoyle. So we're on newsletter number 9, September 1972. And I don't know whether it seems this way to you, but it seems like this is typeset a little differently, or maybe it's just a different scan I have that's, you can see kind of the age of the paper in the background, but not quite as prominent as some of my other scans. These were all done by different folks, so it's a little bit different for each one. So let's get going. That picture there is very interesting. It's Dr. Hosper's, and I love the way they used to say Mrs. Nathan. You'd never see that today. It'd be Ms. Being interviewed for television in California. This is just one of literally dozens of similar interviews the two candidates have given in the last 2 months. We may have some of these recordings. A lot of the tapes that I have are being, not that I have personally, that the party has, but I sent them up to Terra DeSisto, and they are getting digitized, so we shall see. All right, let's get started. The Hosper's Nathan campaign moved into high gear in September. Thanks to considerable coverage in libertarian press, notably Reason magazine, campaign contributions rose from a total of less than $1,000 to over $3,500, making it possible to arrange for cross-country tours by both Dr. Hospers and Mrs. Nathan. $3,500 went a lot further back in the 70s than it did today. Now, it's interesting. It says there was considerable coverage in the libertarian press. I think I have the September 72 Reason magazine somewhere, my personal copy, but I would think it would have been, this came out in September. I would have think they would be mentioning the August issue of Reason, and there isn't any coverage of the convention in the August Reason. Let me double check. I've got it right here. And when I was doing my search to start buying up these old ones, I got one of I love these old binders that people used to keep their magazines in, and I still love doing that, but I was only able to find one. So let's go here to August. I don't have September in this book, so I think I pulled it out to do some research, because I'm pretty sure I had it. And this is the August 72 Reason. And, I mean, I could flip through the whole thing, but I'm looking just in the contents, and nothing about the LP convention. And they said considerable coverage, so you would consider that to be an article that would be in the index. Though I do see something here I want to show you guys. But let me make sure. On the very back, you see that little announcement there. I don't know if you can read it. It says, Newsflash, Libertarian Party to run John Hospers for president. Details to follow next month. So, I don't know. Maybe that's the coverage I don't get it. Along with additional information on the filming of Atlas Shrugged. They've filmed Atlas Shrugged multiple times, and all of the films have sucked. So maybe that's what he's talking about. We'll take a look. Well, so next month would have been September, right? So I got to find that issue. If I don't have it, I'll have to try to buy it somewhere. But if you noticed in that little thing I showed you, it's typed in, so you could tell that was something they put in after this was typeset, because it's definitely in a different font that isn't quite as professional. So I'll let you know what I find out on that. But let's continue. Do you like, who is it that used to do this? Was that Rush Limbaugh that would do that? I don't know. I remember somebody would always be flipping their papers like that. Dr. Hospers, one second, I wanted to make sure, excuse me one moment, because if there were comments, I wanted to be able to see them. This is interactive, so please comment if you dare. Dr. Hosper's tour was finalized in late August. No sooner had the plane reservations been made than national headquarters received a phone call from the National, and they misspelled that, Educational Television Network, asking whether Dr. Hospers could appear on a program devoted to minor party candidates. Of the 18 they knew of, they were inviting 6. I'm going to do a Google search to see if I can find that program. It'd be very cool if it was on YouTube, wouldn't it? It developed that this program... One second here. Okay, sorry, I started to read ahead. It developed that the program was only a 30-minute show. So after much consultation with the chairman in the states where Dr. Hospers was scheduled to appear, it was decided not to reschedule the whole tour for a 5-minute shot. Nevertheless, NET taped a brief interview with Dr. Hospers, which was included in the program, aired September 6th. So he didn't appear personally, but I'd still like to see that. That same day, Dr. Hospers left Los Angeles and spent the next 9 days visiting 9 cities. In the course of the tour, he was interviewed by nearly 20 radio and TV stations for a total of several hours airtime, was written up in over a dozen newspapers to the tune of hundreds of column inches, another misspelling. They were kind of sloppy in this. Poppy was a bit sloppy. Those of you who know Seinfeld will have gotten my very obscure reference in this issue. If you haven't seen that episode of Seinfeld, it's funny. That same day, oh no, I had that. Continuing, the unanimous opinion of the LP leaders in the states covered by the tour was that it was a tremendous shot in the arm for the libertarian movement in each state. Over 1,000 people turned out to hear Hospers speak, and many of them subsequently indicated an intention to support the LP, both by action and by financial contributions. In several cities, Dr. Hospers' schedule happened to bring him to town within 24 hours of other candidates, most notably McGovern and Schmitz. Thus, the news media often made use of this fact to contrast libertarian views with those of liberals and conservatives. In general, reportage was fair. the only conspicuous exception being that of the Boston Globe, widely known as the most ultra-liberal paper in the country. I'm going to re-up my subscription to newspapers.com. It's like $40 a month, but it's worth it for all the LP stuff I can find. And I'm going to try to find that Boston Globe article. That would make a great bonus episode. In Boston, all... Excuse me, let me... Thank you. In Boston, all was not a disaster, however. The New Right Coalition, never heard of them, 800 members, we'll have to look that up, formally endorsed the Hotspur's Nathan ticket, and many NRC representatives were on hand to greet their chosen candidate. NRC is the first national organization other than the LP itself to openly and officially endorse our ticket. During this same period, VP candidate Tony Nathan has also been active. In addition to working actively with the Oregon LP, Ms. Nathan was from Oregon. She went to Chicago to join Dr. Hotspur's for his stop there while on tour, and provided the Illinois LP with considerable expert assistance. Over 250 people turned out to hear the two candidates speak in Chicago. Following her trip to Chicago, Tony went to Washington and helped state chairman Skip Barron. Let me just stop here 1 second. When I've been actually typing these into Lpedia, it makes it easier for the search engine, though they can search on PDFs. These old PDFs do not OCR very well. And as I've been typing these in, I've been going to the state affiliate pages on Lpedia and putting in these chairmen that we see in the historical list of chairmen. And I'm finding most of them were not previously on there. So it's been adding to history. So let me continue. That was Skip Barron. To get things going, over 70 people turned out for an organizational meeting, and it appears that the Hotspur's Nathan ticket will be on the ballot there. Other states where it looks good for the ballot listing are Alaska, Colorado, Louisiana, and New Hampshire. And I wonder if those states still have decent ballot access. I mean, Colorado does, but I think Alaska now has some kind of jungle primary. Boo hiss. In early October, Tony will be making a tour of 5 to 7 states. A report on this tour and on our attempts to get on the ballot will be in next month's issue. Alrighty. Now, I do have a little control panel here, so I do see there are people watching. It makes it much more interesting if there are comments, if there's anything at all to say, and it keeps me from feeling a tad bit less lonely, which I could use today. Lord knows. All right. Focus on campus action, which is, let me get you to the next page here. Not next scene, next PDF. There we go. Okay, focus on campus action. Since the LP has a higher proportion of students among its memberships, over 30%, than any other political party, it is to our advantage to concentrate heavily on campus action in the 6 weeks remaining until Election Day. A lot of people ask why we do not do more campus things today as the LP. And I can tell you what the discussions have been. The organizations, though I know they're on the outs right now because of the abuse that has come out, but they have fired the person responsible. But organizations like Young Americans for Liberty tend to have an infrastructure and sponsorship by the professors that allow them more success on campuses than we have as a political party. Since they are nonpartisan, it's easier to get college professors to sponsor. And you need that because the students, they're only there for a limited time and then they leave. So you need some continuity in some kind of oversight and direction and leadership of some sort, even though the primary leadership is student-led. And that's why that has been left to groups like Young Americans for Liberty. We just do not get the return for the amount of money and time when we have tried it. Though if anyone has any ideas, I'm sure they'd be willing to try it again. I know there's been some student organizations on certain select campuses that have lasted for a while. We'll probably cover some of those. Between now and November 7th, virtually every college and university in the United States will have programs and activities which relate to the elections in some manner. And we could do a great deal to heighten awareness of the LP, its candidates, and the libertarian philosophy in general by participating. Possibilities for specific action include the following. Information boosts. I'm going to read the titles and then we'll go through the specifics. I'm interested if we still do these today. We obviously do, we call them outreach boosts now, but we do information boosts. The number 2 was college-sponsored exhibits. Number 3, school newspapers. Number 4, radio stations. Number 5, speakers programs. And number 6, mock elections. I don't hear of us doing mock elections much anymore. That sounds like it could be fun. So let's now go through these specifics. Information booths. On most campuses, there will be opportunities to set up a booth or table in some designated area to hand out political literature. Don't let the Republicans, Democrats, and Socialists go unchallenged. Set up an LP booth and hand out or sell libertarian material. You can produce your own or order from National. We particularly recommend the new campaign brochure, sample enclosed. Let me look. I don't think I have that, but I have another copy of this, of this newsletter. This is a photocopy I printed out. Let me see if my other copy has that enclosure. I don't think so. A lot of these just didn't come with enclosures. No. Hopefully in the copy of the Nolan archive that we are getting, some of these enclosures will be included in his originals, and I will come back on that and let you know. Okay, let's continue here. Where did I find it? Okay. The platform, Dr. Hosper's book, Libertarianism, and the Hosper's Nathan's Buttons. We do have copies of those Hosper Nathan Buttons on Lpedia. And maybe in a bonus or at the end of this one, if I remember, we'll put some copies up on the screen. Okay, number 2, college-sponsored exhibits. Many colleges set up a political awareness exhibit featuring literature from different sources where students can browse. Such exhibits are usually in the library or the poli-sci department. Make sure LP material is included. There is a lot of opportunity for this today. Not necessarily on college campuses, though I'm sure there as well. It's been a long time since I was at college, so I don't really know how it goes nowadays. But with all of the turmoil that's going on and a lot of the Republicans fleeing the dumpster fire, there is going to be a lot of opportunity to hold political education events, and I encourage you to find them and try to participate or sponsor them yourself. School newspapers. If your college paper and/or local underground paper carry political news and commentary, submit articles on the LP and its candidates. That's something you could do today to regular newspapers. Particularly your local, like towny newspapers. We have something here called News Press that comes out in each of the Colorado towns. They're always looking for material, so press releases and articles is something any of you can do. You may even be able to locate a friendly columnist, or better still, get the paper to carry a column by an LP representative. If they give the young Republicans and young Democrats columns to tout their boys, as many papers do, that terminology would not fly today, would it? Demand equals space. You may not get it, but there's no harm trying. 4, radio stations. Make sure that an LP representative is included on any debate or discussion programs aired by your college radio station. Man, I don't know why I'm so froggy today. Oh, that was such a great segue. Hold on one second. I didn't have it up on my screen. Damn it. But I'm going to do it anyway. Let me find this since we mentioned frogs, right? Where the hell? Man, I am not on my game today. Here we go. Since I'm froggy.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
You know, I don't either. Nobody likes gay frogs. Okay. Actually, I wouldn't care. Let the frogs be gay. Who cares? They're not hurting anybody. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back. Okay, equal time. If necessary, form a tactical alliance with any other minority party groups on campus to get equal times with the Dems and GOP. Let me tell you where there's a great opportunity today. Listen to talk radio and call. If you're a regular on talk radio, very often they will ask you to be a guest. They want interesting people. That's what makes their shows. And just a blast from the past, something you may not know of me, I used to be a substitute, you know, when the regular hosts have had vacation or called in sick. I used to be a substitute talk radio show host myself. I wasn't a libertarian at that time, and I was a really embarrassing feminist at that time. Not saying feminism is embarrassing, but I was an embarrassing kind, you know, like a big red kind, okay? And my dad used to take great pleasure in calling up as a caller and calling me a feminazi to get me all riled up. And at that time, boy, I was hot to denounce Hooters. And now I love Hooters. In more ways than one. Take that as you will. Okay, speakers programs. Most colleges sponsor a weekly or bi-weekly series of lectures, and in election years have speakers representing different political viewpoints. Demand to have at least one libertarian included. This can be a candidate, the state LP chairman, or any libertarian of prominence. These lecture series are usually expense-paid deals, so don't pass up this possibility. I'm not so sure these go on so much anymore. I haven't really heard of that. So here we go with the last one, mock elections. This is the most fun of all. If your school is having a mock election, go all out on getting as many votes as you can for the Hosper's Nathan ticket. Fight to have them listed on the ballot and be sure that an LP representative is on hand when the ballots are counted. Damn it, we don't want voter fraud in these mock elections. If you do everything described in the 5 areas listed above, it's not outside the realm of possibility that the Hosper's Nathan ticket could come in second on some campuses, and a showing of 15 to 20% is certainly attainable. If you do well, notify the local papers and the national wire services immediately. College mock election results are often wildly publicized. I don't think that's true anymore. I've never seen a mock election from a college publicized. On the right there, we have the political perspective, which I always do as a separate bonus issue because it because it kind of goes astray talking more about what's going on with the Republicans and the Democrats. So I like to handle that separately. Let's go to the next page. Bits and pieces. Okay, let's see what's in the bitsies and piecesies. Campaign leaflet now available. That was what was mentioned before, which I don't have. Enclosed with this newsletter is a sample of our new campaign/recruiting brochure. Over 7,000 of these have already been distributed, but we should get out a minimum of 50,000. The back panel has been left blank for state and local LP groups to add their own info. Order from national or reproduce locally. Number 2. Important survey enclosed. I don't have that either. Wait, let me double check. I'm like so sure that I should have this stuff. I'm like refusing to accept. There's another spot I can look in my little book of tricks here. This was number 9, right? July, 12, 11. Hey! I may have some of this. My persistence has paid off. Let me pull this out. I don't think this is scanned. I'm going to have to get this scanned up on LPD. Okay, so I at least I have the survey. I don't think I have the campaign brochure. You know what? We'll do this as a bonus episode since I don't have this scanned to show you. So I'll get it scanned. We got a bonus episode here. I'm glad I was persistent in believing damn bra straps. As I said, we can do so much in science and we can't invent a bra strap that stays up. Okay. Important survey. Oh no, continuing. Campaign leaflet, which I don't have. Enclosed with this newsletter is a sample of our new Did I already say this? I don't think so. I'm really just emotionally drained today and my brain is fried. Spent too much time in tears. Over 7,000 of these have already been distributed, but we should get out a minimum of 50,000. The back panel has been left blank for state and local LP groups to add their own info. Order from national or reproduce locally. And I'm beginning to think that my program here might be glitching, not on the video, but I nearly always at least get a hi in comments and nothing has appeared. I want to, if this is glitching, I need to know to put in a trouble ticket. So will somebody please, who's watching, just type in a smiley face or whatever. I don't care what you type. Just, nothing obscene, please. In comments so I can see if any come up. Of course, I could always go to the posts afterwards to see if there were any comments, but it's highly unusual never to have at least one. And usually Dave or Julian say hello. So if I've got to put in a trouble ticket to Restream or Ecamm, I need to know that. Okay, important survey enclosed, and that is what I do have. On the back, okay, so it is working. You guys are just being quiet. Thank you, Idzoma, on YouTube. I super appreciate it because I was really wondering. I guess everyone's just quiet because it's late. Thank you so very much. I so appreciate it. Okay, important survey enclosed. On the back of your order form this month, there is a survey concerning the National LP dues structure. We want your opinion on this, so be sure to return your form. Order a few dollars worth of goodies while you're at it. Pro-capitalist bookstore opens. Again, there is no doubt whatsoever that the early party was pro-capitalist and that the statement of principles and the platform was written with that in mind. A new bookstore specializing in libertarian material has opened in El Monte, California, and is serving as an LP information center. And I'm going to have to look that up. An LP information. I wonder, did they give the name of it? It doesn't look like it. Damn it. Okay. Sorry. I get really excited. I've read these before, like a couple years ago. I'm old though, so my memory's not so great. So I'm discovering them anew with you as we go through this. So if you're wondering why I get so distracted and excited. In addition to carrying books for sales, the store also operates a lending library and would appreciate anyone lending or donating objectivist-oriented material for inclusion therein. One of the store's specialty is literature on Montessori and educational ideas and practices, and it gives the address, but not the name. Don't you think that's weird? Huh. I'm going to have to type in that address and see if it's still a bookstore. Bonus of the month. Anyone who brings in one regular or two student members between now and November 1st will receive a free copy of Where the Money Went, the valuable expose of bureaucratic wastefulness by Willis E. Stone. I found this book. Well, it's a pamphlet more. I believe so. I did get it, though, so maybe we'll do something on that. Those who bring in one sustaining member, two regulars, or three students will receive a copy of the paperback edition of Dr. Hosper's Libertarianism. 5 student members or 3 regulars or 2 of each gets you both books. You may not count your own membership. Green sheet update. I don't have that. Damn it. I would have loved to seen that. Enclosed is a copy of the latest green sheet. Directory of LP officers. One more change that just came in. California chairman is now Alan Kuhn, and it gives his address. LP members offer record and book. Utah LP chairman Carl Bray, a true champion. Did I say champion of liberty? Champion of liberty. Not that there's anything wrong with tramps. Has published a valuable 24-page guide to tax rebellion entitled Taxation and Tyranny. And I think I have that right over there. I just saw it, I think. I'll have to check that out. And Ken Lefave in Arizona will soon release an LP record of his own compositions. I'm going to have to look that up, too. Yeah, Trampians Unite. Love the Trampians. Gonna have to do a spoof of We Are the Champions, right? And just all be like dressed real slutty. All right, price will be $5 for details, and I never need an excuse to dress slutty, so anyway. And send him a self-addressed envelope at 2443. Oh no, I don't need to read the address, it's there. Hosper's portrait being painted. Oh my God, there's such cool stuff in here that I wish we had. New Hampshire LP Chairman Art Ketchen. Is he still around? And I mean around in both ways, around in the LP or even around on this earth. Unfortunately, a lot of the early party people are no longer with us. So he's in the process of painting a portrait of Dr. Hospers, which he hopes to sell reproduction rights to some publisher to raise funds for the New Hampshire party. And it has his address on the green sheet, which I don't have. Okay, now maybe here it'll say, what I was guessing before is right here. LP convention covered in libertarian publications. There have been many excellent write-ups on our June convention, but 3, which might be of more than average interest to LP members, are those in the September issue of Reason. And I think that's upstairs because I'm in the basement right now. Yes, I am a basement dweller, but I don't have a beard on my neck. I think it's upstairs in my office. So if so, there'll be another bonus. Man, I do so many bonus episodes. That's why I can't catch up. Of Reason. The Firebringer, which I've never heard of. I'm going to have to see if I can find that. And the new banner. Mini poster on back page, which we do have, and I'll show you. On the back page of this month's issue is a mini poster. Promoting the Hospers Nathan ticket, which is suitable for framing. Oh my God, it sounds so much like a QVC commercial. Patching holes in the plaster, and mainly reproducing for use wherever applicable. Being a simple design, it can be enlarged considerably without falling apart. These are pre-Photoshop days. Progress report. LP organizations now exist in 26 states. That's damn good for how young they were. Total membership is estimated at just under 1,500. Starting next month, we will have much closer estimates on membership than we have had in the past, as each state chairman is being asked to file a detailed monthly progress report. This coming month should be a good one in terms of growth, as student memberships should increase by at least 300, and we have contracted for mailing to 7,000 libertarians. If you get one of these, pass it on to someone else. We now project 2,000 members by election day and 2,500 by year end. So what is interesting about this, where it said if you get something that's like a libertarian mailing, pass it on to someone else. I know a lot of people say they don't like getting, particularly younger people, they don't like getting the hard copy of the LP News. Pass it on. If you get it and you just prefer to read it digitally, you can read it digitally on the website, but that is such a great thing to leave in doctor's offices or other places where people are bored. And I wanted to put here on the screen, it's almost said 1,526 states, and now we everywhere. Yes, we be. the Trampians are taking over the world. But 26, that's pretty good considering back then, you know, there was no internet and all the things that we spread the word with by now. So, yeah, I think that's pretty remarkable for 1972. Okay, 3 more libertarian candidates. Since preparing our roundup of 9 state and local libertarian candidates in the last newsletter, we have learned of 3 others. State LP chairman. What state? Oh, Georgia. Okay. Pasquale Giordano is running for U.S. Senate in Georgia as a write-in. His main purpose is to generate public awareness of the LP and to locate new LP members. A strong tie-in is being made with the Hospers Nathan campaign. In the state of Washington, LP members are attempting to get David Odden on the ballot as the LP candidate for state legislature. And this is, they give his address. And in California, LP member Mike Timko is running for Congress in the 26th district on the Peace and Freedom ticket. His campaign stresses support for the marijuana decriminalization referendum, which is on the ballot in California this year. an emphasis on civil liberties issues, and a call for a non-interventionist foreign policy with specific support for ending the war in Indochina. And yeah, let me expand upon this a slight bit here. I agree with you, Itzoma, that leaving it in offices, particularly doctor's office, because you know how long they make you wait. You know, you need to be on time, but the doctor, God forbid that they see you on time. And you're probably tired of reading highlights for children or whatever, like stuff. Excuse me, this stuff I got too excited. The stuff they leave in the offices sometimes is really boring. So you might as well, you know, that's a great way to spread the word. It might be the first time somebody had ever learned of libertarianism and they could read it and go, wow, you know, that's me. You never know. That could be like the next wealthy donor or our next presidential candidate. You just never, ever know. So yeah, take that opportunity. So now let's go to the back page, which has that mini poster they talked about. One second. Here we go. So here's the poster that is suitable for framing. I'm not so sure it's suitable for framing, but it is cool. The graphic on the bottom is the same as the bumper sticker that was in red, white, and blue. And it used to be those big ass. Remember those big bumper stickers? They were 12 inches, like, because of those monster cars that we used to be able to drive before we became so environmentally conscious. So break free. That is the campaign slogan. And you see the Liber sign on there. So that is it for that. But, oh my God, you are so right. Let me put this up here too. It's almost as if it'd make a nice clock. It would, wouldn't it? And have the arrow go around. I'm intrigued by that idea. That would make a pretty cool clock. So that is it for at least the, whatchamacallit, the issue. Oh, yes, and I switched cameras. Look how fancy pants I am. I wanted to show you guys a couple other things. We might do some episodes on these, but they're not directly LP related, but I think it's important to know the political climate that we're talking about. And I had found this. It's let me put it up here. So it's a magazine called Peace and Freedom Through Nonviolent Action, WIN, W-I-N. And I flipped through it, and there is nothing on the LP, but it is obviously, you know, nonviolent action, a libertarian type product. But I'm like looking on the back here, there is some very much John Lennon, imagine that album came out this month in 1972. So it's funny that this thing on the back really reminded me of that because it is so utopian. And this isn't really something that libertarians would necessarily agree with. They had recognized that people aren't motivated by this. But I'd like to read this back for you. What would happen? This is so John Lennon. If people stopped using money, if they stopped making payments, i.e. rent, taxes, mortgages, loans, etc., if mostly everyone, including policemen and soldiers, stopped, who could collect or kick us out? If people quit taking money for their work, if they then produced an essential product or service for mankind or else learned on the job a skill that was essential, if people took control of their jobs and made their work into a real fun place to be, if the people who worked on the big farms produced the food for free, if everything was free, who would need to steal? If we worked for fun, not for money, if we produced for people, not for profit, if we started talking to everyone about it. I can't even understand what, like this, it's calligraphy and something wars and pollution if there was no profit in them. If you used your ideas and energy to help. Oh, to wars, it says. Okay, to governments when people started loving each other. What would happen? This would never happen. What would happen is enough people would just not do anything. And actually, what would happen if there wasn't a profit motive? If there wasn't room for advancement? I know people would like to think that's not an essential part of being human, but it is. Without that motivation, I'll tell you what would happen. The world would stagnate and civilization would probably devolve. That's what would happen. I know we would love to imagine this, fantasy world, but I can't think of any way to make some jobs fun, and those jobs just wouldn't happen. Do you think cleaning out the sewage systems of just the nastiest literal shit you can think of could ever be made fun? No. If you weren't getting paid for it, well, you wouldn't do it. This is just so 4-year-old level naive. And so was John Lennon's song Imagine. So anyway, you could tell this is really hippy-dippy and probably a little libertarian socialist rather than libertarian capitalist in here. Yeah, there's an article on Buddhism, but it'd be interesting, but that's just complete nonsense. And another item I had that might interest you, I picked up the World Book Yearbook for 1973, which deals with the year before of 1972. So I figured there might be some interesting things in here, and maybe we can learn more about that Munich, what happened to the Israelis that was just so sad. That's probably in here. I don't know. I haven't really looked at it very much, except for to note that it is in excellent condition, and there's a lot of nice pictures, like National Geographic type pictures. And there was something really cool in here that I found, but I can't. There was like an insert. Now I can't find it. That's so weird, because it was like plastic pages. You'd think me flipping through here, they would pop back out again. Let me try one more time. And I'm going to look in the index to see if libertarianism is mentioned in here anywhere. Nope, that's not it. Isn't that weird? There was like these plastic maps in here that I thought were so cool, but let's look in the index and see if libertarianism is mentioned in here. Gloria Steinem, I just saw. Let's see. Leukemia, no. Libya, nope. Liechtenstein is in here, but no libertarianism. That's a shame. So it didn't make a blip to be able to be included in this book. Let me see if Munich is in here. Can you believe that's not in here? The World Book Yearbook of 1972 and a large terrorist attack is not even in here. But it's also was pretty fascinated by Liechtenstein. I'm probably mispronouncing it, but I immediately saw that. I'll be looking at that. That's very interesting. So maybe we'll do a few segments on this, because although this is, as I said, LP history, I think it really does behoove us to learn more about what was going on in the world at that time. All right, guys, that is going to be it. I really appreciate you watching. If you feel like it, you can sit through my begging spiel for patrons and the like. Otherwise, I will see you next time. So, one sec. Here we go. All right, everyone. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, share. You know, whatever every YouTuber tells you. And you can financially support this work, obviously, at patreon.com, Pink Flame of Liberty. And if you're still mad at Patreon, I do have a Subscribe Star account, which is also Pink Flame of Liberty. And you can check the show notes. I've got my PayPal, I've got my Venmo, I've got my social, I've got everything down there, and an Amazon affiliate link. If you were ever thinking of supporting this program, today would be a really nice day to do it, because I am pretty down in the dumps, and it would cheer me up. I have Judge Gray up here with All Rise, because that is what I'm doing for bonus content right now for the patrons. We're doing kind of like a stroll through the book of All Rise by Judge Jim Gray, and there will be more book review type things, and book exploration is more like it type things for my patrons. And yeah, that's
You gotta take what you're given, that's how we live it. Don't be mad at the system, it's simply how we've existed. I hear a lot of people talking like they politicians, or choose to be an accountant because it's safe in the business. Not